What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Evan here. We're back at it again. We're changing it up a little bit this time. We have another tier list video, but instead I brought two of my good friends along. I brought over Carter and Spencer. Say hi, you guys.
Hello.
Hello.
So we have an interesting topic for our tier list today. It is Dead by Daylight interactions and ranking them not from like S to F, something usual, but we got the rankings of a very good boy, a good time for most, maybe some slight salt, a viable strat, don't cry, you big baby. Technically a strat, but both sides are a little bit seared with salt on the grill. You know how it be. We got Garbage Boy Stinkman, and we also got Go to Jail, You Psychopath. That needs a comma. We appreciate grammar here. We're going to start off with the first one. We're all going to debate, and if we don't agree, we'll try and find a middle ground. So, giving item at the gate for Survivor. What do you guys think?
I think you're a very good boy. I feel like
Yeah.
it's pretty cut and dry.
All right. Some of these are going to definitely be easier than others. So, giving item at the gate, very good boy.
Agreed.
A dead dog offering. This can be either from the killer or Survivor.
Huh.
Uh, Personally, I would put it in the technically a strat, but there might be some salt. If I was playing Survivor, I'd be pretty upset.
I
putting in
think
a
I
dead
think
dog.
if a killer offers it, it might be a little bit of a garbage boy sneak man move.
Yeah, I'm almost more scared though when a Survivor offers it though. Like
What do you think,
the
Spence?
confidence that
Right.
they rate
The
me.
equivalent of seeing a killer off for Haddonfield.
Okay, I
Yeah.
think we can leave here.
Yeah,
Over.
I'm kind of torn between brown and red there, but I can go
Mhm.
either way, I think.
All right,
Yeah.
bringing a Mori like the offering.
That's a viable strat.
Viable strat.
I think so too. I think it's a viable strat.
At most, it saves you a couple seconds, lets you bypass a DS late game, something like that.
Yeah, there are definitely factors to it that are beneficial. Bringing a key. This one's
Uh,
interesting.
Yeah, I feel like it's definitely got to go brown or yellow here. It's definitely a strat. It's just whether or not it's okay to be upset about.
Between those two, yeah, I know a lot of people have opinions about keys. Um, I haven't really played at high enough rank to encounter the whole play as killer and someone cheats you out of a pip by getting three
Yeah,
people out through the hatch thing.
it's tough because I
So
think if you're a killer, it's kind of seen as a garbage boy stinkman play because you can kind of like you can avoid the entire exit gate and get the entire team out if you find hatch and everyone's together.
yeah,
So it's like, and say you're running Noed, you don't get to use any of the or your any end game perk. Um,
yeah.
it's tough. Where
I
would you guys
suppose
want to land here?
I suppose going into the game, bringing the key, planning to find hatch, and just sneak everyone out that way.
Yeah,
A
I feel
little
like
bit
you
of
could
a
also you could
little bit,
reward for
yeah,
being really a bad player too. Like if you've got a blend
yeah,
at just hiding and waiting to use that key, like you only have
yeah.
got two generators, everybody else
Mm,
dies, and you can just fail.
it can definitely act as a safety net that is a little bit too forgiving, I suppose. And it's a little bit counter to the spirit of the game, I think, to go into the game expecting to just get hatch.
Yeah, and
So,
not having to worry about exit gates at all or anything
mhm.
like that. I think
I think,
I don't want to. I think that both sides seared with salt doesn't apply, but I think it's technically a strat. But there's going
yeah,
to be issues with
Some
it.
survivors can be salty too in some senses.
yeah,
Like I said, if you
especially,
just let your teammates die so you can dip.
Yeah. Okay. We,
hmm
we can
or if
definitely leave
Killer
it here. I
Tunnel's the
think.
key holder.
Okay. This is
Yeah,
a fun one. Jumping in front of a ghost face Mori. Um, I want to hear
I
what you guys
personally
say.
think I think it's a green for sure. It's probably fun for everybody except for the person getting worried.
Yeah, yeah. Like I wouldn't put it in Good Boy because there's no benefit or like necessarily goodwill involved, but it's just fun.
Yeah, I think so too. That's a really fun one.
Except for that one guy that's getting teabagged and now has a screen cap of it forever.
I think this might be very divisive, but running Noed, just
Hmm.
in general as a perk.
I think it depends on how you plan to use it.
In all
Uh,
situations, try and average it out.
'Cause,
On average, I would say viable strat.
yeah, like there are definitely scenarios where I can see it leaning much more towards Garbage Boy Stinkman, like those ones that,
I'm
uh,
I'm leaning a bit towards Garbage Boy Stinkman.
Really?
Yeah,
I don't know,
I,
it
Okay.
just depends. Like
it
it's definitely think a good time, if you're the killer and you're new and you're learning, like it's great for you to try and pull back the game and actually get some points there. But if you're somebody who's really good and have some like ridiculous end game build, I think you're a garbage boy stink man because you just decided to let everybody run away with the rest of the game so you could ruin it at the end.
I don't necessarily have a problem with end game builds. I think it's definitely perfectly fine if someone wants to try and get through most of the game, if possible, just on the merits of their killer power and their own skill, and then save like end game perks and stuff for just in case. But I can see where you're coming from on that.
I guess I should specify, like, there are people who go in with, like, pretending to be bad, like a baby killer.
Yeah.
While the gens are all getting popped, so that way they can, like, destroy everybody in the end game. So
yeah, there's definitely room for bait and switch there, and that's gonna make people salty. I get that.
Yeah.
I think on average it's probably a viable strat, but it can definitely go down here at times.
I think I'm certainly okay with averaging it out to brown there. Technically a strat.
Yeah, people are
a little salt.
Okay.
People are going to be upset on either side, I think.
I know we
Keeler's
usually
probably
are.
not happy that they had to get to that point.
This one, holding the game hostage, I think that's an easy go to jail. You scumbag psychopath.
Stinky boy in jail.
We hate that. We hate to see it here. Giving hatch. What do you guys think?
Good boy.
Yeah.
Very good boy.
Good boy.
Like,
now, I have a slightly different opinion on this. I think if a killer gives me hatch, I see it as them kind of taking pity on me at times, and it could be like, oh, like you didn't make it out, so I'm gonna I'll let you live. I say you get to live. So I think it's a good time for most, or I think it's in between here personally.
I've definitely seen times where the killer will be really nasty about hatch. They'll keep downing you, letting you run away, and they'll, instead of just letting you run for hatch, they'll insist on downing you and dropping you on hatch or something like that, and that can be a little obnoxious.
Yeah, they gotta flex, letting you know you didn't actually earn it.
Yeah,
I'm feeling gracious today.
There is definitely an element of that.
So where would you guys want to put this? Either good boy or good time for most?
I guess you could say good time for most, because there are also scenarios where other survivors maybe would have deserved it more, and somebody just got lucky and got it. Or like you said, somebody's flexing,
Yeah.
I doth bestow unto you the hatch.
Yeah, it's especially if you 4gen at or 4K at 5 gens or something. And then you're just here you go. You can have it.
I do think that 90% of the time, it's a very good boy move, because most times killers are not going to be super nasty about it.
We'll leave it there for now.
Yeah, there is definitely some wiggle room here.
Closing hatch in your face after carrying you there.
Psychopath.
I'm going to lean more towards garbage boy.
I think it's garbage boy stink man. I don't think it's go to jail. I think it's
really.
I feel pretty strongly.
Yeah.
So
there are a
what
lot of
saves
scenarios.
What saves it from the
Oh, actually, actually, hold on. I think based on the names of the tiers, this actually might be technically a strat.
I don't know how that would be strategic.
You close the hatch on them. They don't get hatched. You get to kill them.
But
in that case, just
what's the benefit? Yeah, I was like, what's the benefit?
I was just being devil's advocate based on the title alone.
I am genuinely curious. What saves it from bottom tier for you two?
I think it's if someone's being really shitty, like a survivor, it's kind of your final. I caught you. You suck. So if you've had a bully squad on you the whole time, this is your final chance to be get fucked.
Okay, you can use it as a bit of a clapback.
Yeah, that's the only scenario I think. And most of the times when I think it gets seen, it's because of that. Now, in the instances where it's completely unjustified, yes, go to jail. Directly jail.
I think
200 blood points.
I think in some situations it's just kind of funny too, especially if you're crawling to it, and then they walk up and just close in front of your face, or they just look, or they're crouching, they just look up at you all sad. I don't know. I think me and Carter feel pretty strongly about here. I can see it going both ways though. I think this is of all the bad things. I think this is more funny than most other bad things, but I get it's still not great.
It at least looks a little funnier than most.
Yeah, especially just like
stomping on the hatch to flip it shut. I think by the same token as giving hatch being very good boy, despite the fact that it can be toxic in some cases, I still personally would put closing it in your face after carrying you there in bottom tier for the same reason that the stuff you mentioned is valid, but I think it's going to come up very, very rarely. That's just my personal thoughts on that one. I'm okay with
your thoughts are
compromising
heard.
there.
I think you're being outvoted here, Spency.
Fair enough.
Board has heard your concerns.
Yeah. And his name is the entity. Clicky flashlight at loops specifically.
I think it's a viable strat.
I think
I want to pull your attention.
I would like for you to expand on that.
If I'm a good looper and, I'm playing with my friends and somebody's a really weak looper and you're tunneling them, I'm going to clicky you and try to get you to leave them alone so that they can go push gens or heal or do whatever they got to do. So the clicky is, come chase me. Obviously, like blinding killers too is very much a strategy.
You don't see it as BM?
In some scenarios, I think it's BM. I think like you could argue it goes brown tier, but I think for the most part, in loops specifically, it would just be considered a viable strat in my head.
I'm
leaning brown, but that's just me. What do you think, Spence?
I'm inclined to go with brown as well. I definitely see what you're saying there. We've had teammates who have done very good strategic clickies to draw the killer's attention, and it was really clutch to get them off of a weaker looper. So in certain circumstances, it definitely is a viable strat, I think. I would say just going by the tier descriptions, you will certainly get both sides a little salty in some cases. Killer for sure, and survivor if the clicky doesn't work. If the killer continues to pursue the weaker looper, then
Carter, I think you're being outvoted a little bit here. I feel pretty strongly about
only a little.
Only a little bit here. Yeah, I see your point, and I don't disagree. But I'd vote this if I had to.
I'm very happy for you, and I'm gonna let you finish.
It's definitely borderline between the two, I'd say.
Yeah. It just depends.
All right, clicky flashlight at gate.
At gate, Stinkman.
Psychopath.
Psychopath.
Oh, I thought we would all have the same answer. Spence, you first. What makes it not psychopath for you?
Just the fact that it doesn't actually impede anybody. The fact that if you want, you can just ignore it. It doesn't hurt you if you just say, okay, I know they're going to be at the gate clicking. I'm just not going to go there. I'm going to go break pallets instead for a few points. That's the only redeeming quality to it. I still think people are assholes who do it, but...
Carter, why are they a psychopath, and why do they go to jail? Do not collect $200.
They go to jail. They go to Blood Warden jail. There's no point. Like, there's absolutely no strategy for the most part. Like, I don't even think it's, like, the other person was destroying you, so this is your revenge. Like, I'll
also add that this extends to like teabagging at gate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think
any kind of exit gate BM.
Yeah, there's absolutely no point. Just leave. You're just holding the killer there. Like, they're probably upset anyways. The game clearly did not go in their favor.
Fair enough.
So it's almost like a even more toxic way to hold the game hostage in a sense.
So I think it's Garbage Boy Stinkman, and I was surprised that you said psychopath. I think it's close, but once I read it, I'm like, my initial thought is Garbage Boy Stinkman. That is like the definition of that tier for me. I don't think it's like anything super terrible, but there's no point in doing it. You kind of come off as a douche. I vote Garbage Boy Stinkman. I think we know where Carter votes. Spence, what are you gonna vote for?
I'm gonna say Garbage Boy as well, just because it doesn't delay the game for anybody. It doesn't actively impede anybody. It just kind of annoys.
I mean, worst case situation, you just walk up and hit them, right? As a killer,
pretty much.
And then they just.
It definitely doesn't feel good, and I can understand the psychopath rating though.
Okay, being an AFK teammate, aka a survivor.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna ask if you could clarify the AFK teammate and killer a little bit. Like deliberately AFKing?
For whatever reason, you're AFK as a survivor. You are the AFK survivor. Either you're in the bathroom or you're getting food. something came up that you gotta go on your phone for, whatever.
Hmm.
Well, forgetting the morality of why you're taking a break or not playing the game, just you are AFK to your teammates.
I think you're a garbage boy, stink man.
Yeah,
I would tend to agree.
There isn't really any strategy to it, so it can't go brown or above, I would say.
Yeah.
Okay, I was expecting one of you guys to say psychopath, but I wasn't sure.
Accidents happen. I don't think you would ready up as a survivor with the intent to fuck with people.
I have definitely
our next one.
I have definitely readied up and then made a quick pee run.
How about AFK killer? And this can extend to just, we had a game the other day where I think a Wraith was just, he was playing, but just like AFK. Or you're AFK.
The one where we were trying to figure out if they had an endgame build and went around.
From a survivor point of view, that's a very good boy. He doesn't hurt. He doesn't hurt me. He's nice to me.
At the same time, though, you might struggle to pip if you care about that, or get chase points. So
yeah, I think you're. I'm gonna lean more towards go to jail. If you're a killer, like you had to go out of your way to do that, especially the Wraith. Like you picked him probably to just go cloak and deny people a game.
If we're talking intentionally AFKing, yeah, it's like just why?
Yeah. And at least like, I don't know, you still get to play the game if you have an AFK survivor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a lot harder, but you can still play.
Yeah, you still can like get like chase points, loops, everything like that, stealth points. Okay. Let's do the next one. Face camping in general. So this can include face camping like on at any point in the game, either late game, early game, and it doesn't have to be necessarily just like someone's on the hook, you're looking at them and not moving. It can be very like
proxying,
proxying,
like close proxying.
Yeah, close proxying. Yeah.
That changes my answer. So
are we counting downing someone and watching their body as well, not hooking them? Or is that holding the game hostage?
Yeah, let's just say on hook.
Okay.
That changed my answer definitely because I was gonna say proxy camping is a viable strat.
I'm saying we're saying
technically a strat.
We're saying close proxy camping.
Very close proxying, yeah. When it's clear that they're patrolling the area, but
they're not going more. They're not going more than like 20 meters away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna personally say it's technically a strat. I'm not happy about it. I can't imagine the killer's that happy about it either, having to do it because you're gonna lose so many points for hook proximity. Like you're probably doing it either because you're an asshole or because you're really losing and are desperate to pull points. So you're probably already salty anyways.
I agree. I don't like having to close proxy or face camp when I play as killer because I'd rather be off chasing survivors off of gens.
Yeah,
but
I think
if I feel I have to, then I will.
I think late game it's a viable strat, but especially if there's 4 people alive.
4 people left at exit gates powered, I expect hook camping.
Yep. Okay. Disconnecting.
Boy, stink man. Poor sport.
I would agree.
As someone who's done it on multiple occasions, yeah, it's a garbage waste.
With the exception of if you can tell it's a hacker. The hacker is a stink.
True.
Well, speaking of, we have some of that coming up, so hold your thoughts on that topic. Tunneling someone. Just the concept of tunneling a player out of the game.
Viable strat.
It makes me salty, but it is a viable strat, I have to admit.
If it makes you salty, though, is it technically a strat?
Well, does it make both sides?
Yeah.
You don't think
it's a very seasoned boy?
I want to put it under technically a strat, but I think it has to go under viable strat.
I would argue a seasoned killer tunneling is a proper way to play in a lot of cases. If you're a little bit behind on gens, by far the
I should clarify. I meant seasoned as in like lightly sprinkled with salt.
Oh. I thought you meant seasoned veteran.
Salt bay out here.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Like a seasoned, experienced killer, hopefully.
Okay.
Most of them will tunnel partially, like they'll juggle 2 to 3 survivors.
Next time I'm feeling salty, I'm just gonna say, I'm a little lightly seasoned right now.
I'm seasoned right now. Okay. Oh man. Okay, so I'm leaving it in viable strat.
Yeah.
Because I think, objectively speaking, killing a player as early as you can is the easiest way to 4K in DBD, at least for me.
Yeah.
Like if there's someone if someone gets rescued and I'm playing Spirit or something, and I see them running away and they don't have BT, yeah, you're going on that second hook. I don't care if it's 5 or gens or 4 gens. So
yeah, I know we had that one game the other day where for whatever reason, killer wanted me dead, and they pursued me to the exclusion of everybody else until I was out. I was pretty mad about that.
yeah,
But
it happens.
that
But
that
it's
does
viable.
happen occasionally.
It's viable. It is the killer's objective to hook
yeah,
people.
and it is. The only reason I'm not more salty about it in general is because it carries with it a big risk. If the person you choose to tunnel is a strong looper, then that's going to be a huge waste of time for you.
Also, that leaves the other 3 people to just slam gens. Have one person with prove thyself.
Yep.
And you take that huge risk of like, is it a DS unbreakable? Like, do I slug them, or if I do decide to tunnel,
or they have BT.
DS is obviously a thing. Yeah, borrow time. Like, you could waste so much time if you really commit to that hard tunnel.
Yeah. So every time I've been tunneled out of the game, I'll admit it's on me because I'm not a better looper. So
okay. Yeah. For this next one, I want to clarify a little bit. I wanted to add a certain situation. The prompt says killing yourself on first hook. However, I want to add a specific situation that we're talking about. There are two survivors left. One survivor gets hooked. The other one is looking for hatch. If the person on hook tries to kill themselves as quickly as possible so the other person can get hatch, instead of having the other guy try and unhook them. In that situation is what I'm talking about here.
That situation, I would say it's a good time for most. Killer's probably not happy about it.
At that point, most kills are probably going to be proxying the hook anyway. So I'd say killing yourself to give a teammate hatch is viable.
I'm leaning towards Brown here. I think there's some salt in the sense that you're telling to the killer, you can't get both of us. Like, you're only going to get one of us. And obviously the killer's going to be salty because they're not getting both people. And also they're not getting a second hook stage. Or they're not getting a second hook action. Because that's emblem points.
Right, you get separate points for each time that you hook somebody.
Yeah, if someone goes straight to second stage,
you don't get any points for it.
You get points, but not as much points, and you also don't get emblem status. So I think, I personally think my vote is Brown, but I want to know what you guys think.
Personally, as killer, if I have already eliminated 2 people and the third one kills them on hook, so fourth can get hatch, I don't mind. I consider 3 kills still a win for me.
What do you think, Carter?
I still lean more towards green, so it sounds like I'm going to average out to yellow here.
Okay. Running DS Unbreakable. That specific combo.
It's viable. Absolutely viable. Yeah.
Okay. I think so too.
Same thing goes for the killer side, Ruin Undying, something like that. It's viable. It's a pain, but it's viable.
It's annoying. You got to play around it for sure, but especially with DS Unbreakable, you got 3 other survivors you could go after if it's really that much of an issue, unless literally everybody's running it.
Which, interestingly, like my general impression is any perk that's in the game, just running it, it's fine. No problem with that. But we do have NOED in Brown tier. So that's just interesting observation there.
Yeah, I think NOED has a special place in the DBD community.
You think so?
With that, yeah. Sandbagging teammates. I'm gonna use this as accidentally.
Okay.
Accidentally sandbagging. Like, it is a sandbag and you got downed because someone, accidentally ran in a loop with you or blocked a window on accident. This doesn't really... Yeah, exactly.
Don't attack him. He's not here to defend himself. Not that he would anyways.
It doesn't really apply to, like... It's not a strat.
It's not.
So, we can count this as, like, it's fine to do, like, less fine.
Sure.
I would personally probably put it in the Brown tier. Like, even if it's on accident, unless you're running a flashlight or something, or maybe for the people with the intent to help that person if they go down, you have no reason to be crowding that loop. Like, get out so that they can do what they need to do.
Yeah, and I know that I've accidentally sandbagged before, and I've been mad at myself for it, for not realizing to get out sooner. So, yeah, I'd say both sides salty is a good assessment of that.
Obvious hacking. So this can include anything like obvious speed hacks, fly hacks, throwing speed hacks. Even on the survivor side, I saw a video where you can make yourself turn into the hook stage, so you're invulnerable, and then you turn back into running. So like it's like stuff like that, or like gen speed hacks. Or actually, that's not obvious.
Oh,
Gen speed.
All of these kind of sound like semi-subtle to me.
Well,
When
no,
I
no.
think obvious
I'm
hacking, I think like flying huntress.
when I say obvious, I mean
Flying,
like
hatchet chucking ghost face.
yeah, like unlimited hatchet throwing, like zooming around, like obviously
Mhm.
zooming. So like that kind of thing. Not gen progress is not obvious unless you're another
Unless it's
survivor
pop,
and
pop,
you see
pop, pop.
yeah. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, we can include that. The 5 pops at the start of the game. We can include
Yeah.
that. So what do you guys think?
I would put it in. Oh, I was gonna put it in brown because I think you do
Really?
have those people who hack to ruin the game for everybody, but then you also have those really fun hackers. Like you do have like flying hunters,
Ooh.
people that are just there to have a ridiculous time.
Hmm.
Um,
That's a good
so
point.
if you can clearly tell, like, okay, the hillbilly just jumped over the exit gate and is waiting, or the huntress is T-posing in the sky, or the nurse is outside the map, or whatever. And even like survivors,
Hmm.
Mario jumping over hills and on top of Shaq now. I think those are really fun, and they open it up for a very different kind of game experience.
That's a good point.
And a lot of the people who do ridiculous shit like that can make a really fun game. And then obviously you do have people who abuse it, which is why I am not
Mhm.
tempted to put it any higher.
That's
I think
true.
subtle hackers are much more sociopathic.
I noticed that you have your distinction between obvious and subtle hackers here, and I think maybe a more effective distinction for purposes of this list would be between malicious hackers and screwing around hackers.
That's fair.
Because like I definitely put the malicious hackers in
I mean
psychopaths.
I think all the screwing around hackers are obvious though, right?
Generally,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a squares and rectangles thing.
I lean pretty firmly in the garbage boy stink man category, but
For the obvious hackers.
for the obvious ones, yeah.
Mm.
What do you think, Spence? If you had to put it in one tier?
My initial instinct is to put both categories of hacking in the psychopath tier, but Carter does make a very good point. The fun hackers, the ones who just screw around and aren't there to ruin everyone's day, but to create more of a crazy round for everyone and then like let everyone go. Yeah, I'll put that up in brown, sure. I guess we can even out we can average out obvious hacking into red. Does that work?
I think so. I don't think. I think if someone said obvious hacking the game makes you a garbage boy stink man, I don't think that's. No one's really gonna hard disagree with you there. There are points for either side, but as far as subtle hacking, I'm just gonna throw this in there. You absolute psychopath.
Yeah,
That
the
one
only reason to
Why
hack
you
and to
play
hide it is because you're trying to exploit the game.
Yeah, stuff like subtle speed hacks. I'm like that trickster we faced the other
Trickster
day.
that hag that was teleporting, and you were just like, oh, she must have mint rag. We're not stepping on her traps. Find out after the game, no mint rag. Cheater.
I don't know. Yeah, the point is, even after the game, you're still not sure. That's the worst point
Yeah.
because it looks like
Yeah.
they are, but I think that's a fairly easy one. Insidious Bubba Basement Boy.
Stink man.
Spence?
Hmm.
It's a tough one. This actually for me might be the toughest one yet.
I hate that it is technically a strat.
Because for me personally, I could see it across any four
Anywhere
of these.
along the warm colors there.
Anywhere, yeah. I
I
honestly
personally, I run against putting it any higher than brown because if you bought the perk Insidious, you came in with the intent to sit there and camp and not play the game.
is that not
you're specifically doing like the Elephant Ninja build?
is that not a viable strat to you?
Not really. Like, if the survivors are smart for the most part, like, you're gonna get one kill and ruin one person's day. Like, that's it. You basically, if you're lucky, maybe they don't know what they're doing. If you're still in lower ranks, maybe you could argue it's a strat.
Well, even
Builds
though
that involve insidious camping, I would say, almost always rely on the survivors to be super altruistic.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they don't work very well.
If I had to vote for one, I would say it's technically a strat, or even here. I really don't think, like you said, at lower ranks, sure, but at the higher ranks that we tend to play at, generally, I think I don't know. If you know they're down there, you just that guy's going.
Bubba and other characters that have an easy on-call instant down, I think, occupy a specific special place in the hook camping meta, I guess, just because they can stuff rescues so much more easily than other killers can.
So my vote's brown. What are your final votes so we can try and average?
I still think you're a stink man.
Spence?
I think I am going to have to go with Stinkman here as well. Specifically if we're talking about Bubba's and other instant down killers.
Okay. I guess I'm not as hard on that, because it goes back to what you said, Spence. If it is a perk in the game, which Insidious is, you can use it.
Yes.
We're not grading Insidious specifically. We're grading that whole interaction.
Well, that's
Insidious,
I
you're
would
a
say
great boy. I don't care.
That's really the only reason people use Insidious, though.
And for the record, I'm not talking. I'm not gonna rate regular hook camping the same here. This is basement camping specifically.
Well, that's exactly
a regular Insidious hook camping Bubba is still a dick move. It's gonna make me salty, but I'd put that in brown. Basement specifically, red.
Okay. Well, I guess we can agree to disagree a little bit there, but that's fine. That's how it be. Haddonfield offering.
I can definitely see where you're coming from on putting it higher up as well. So, Haddonfield offering. What do you think, Carter?
I'm torn between Stinkman and technically a strat. It's obviously incredibly fun as a survivor, but also incredibly unfairly tilted. It's in your favor. You're ruining the killer's time for the most part.
Now, I don't know if this is such a hot take. I think Dead Dog is more unbalanced than Haddonfield.
I disagree. Dead Dog is easier map pressure wise, obviously, like it's small. There's still like viable loops. Like
I am coming from I'm coming from a point of view though, like with the killers that I play, because I like Spirit Wraith. They're pretty quick and they can run around and get places.
Yeah, they can cover a lot of ground quickly.
So I'm coming at it with that point of view with the people that I play. So would we say brown here, same as Dead Dog, or do you think it's worse?
Yeah, I'd say same as Dead Dog. I'd say.
I could see it going either way.
It is like you mentioned in chat earlier that technically Dead Dog still has some redeeming qualities for survivors. Like the gens are close enough together that you can get through them pretty quickly. You have long lines of sight so you can see where the killer is pretty frequently. Haddonfield doesn't really have anything like that to offer the killer. But at the same time, there's definitely, I think, some ways to compensate. I know that there's things like Lethal Pursuer, which makes Haddonfield much less bearable, because a big part of the issue with Haddonfield is the initial search for survivors.
Yeah. So I think what I'm trying to say is that I'd rather be a killer on Haddonfield than a survivor on Dead Dog. I don't know. That's just the way I see it. So
I get it. It's preferences.
I'm between here, but I think on average this middle tier is where we're gonna go.
Yeah. I think it also just depends what killers you play. Like Spirit and Wraith on Haddonfield are not that much of an issue. But like I like the ranged killers, so like Huntress and Deathslinger. Fuck me, I'm out, dude. Haddonfield, done.
Unless you catch someone on the street, yeah.
Yeah, like if I can get you on the street, maybe. If you take me to that like House of Pain, I'm out.
And the last, but certainly not least, Boopin' That Snoot.
Good boy. Very good boy.
Very good boy.
Very good boy.
Wholesome. Give me that Snoot.
The nicest thing you can do.
Absolutely.
All right.
I will say, I have seen some pig players complain that they just want to play the game normally, and they get survivors who keep throwing the game trying to boop the Snoot. But
Pig is my third most played killer, I would say, in public, and I definitely have some games where the survivor's just standing still trying to boop me, and I just go up and hit him because We're at 5 gens, my guy. Like, I'm not gonna just like let you go.
You can go to jail.
My killer is already not good as it is. Like,
That is the contract that you signed when you play Pig. You understand and accept the terms and conditions of snoot boopage. But they only get one. They try and boop you all game, then
if they try it at the beginning, I'm
around.
not playing that game at the beginning. If it's like late game, like and there's like 1 or 2 left, sure.
Well, and a smart survivor is gonna wait probably until the end, maybe at the gates or something.
Yeah, if it's at the gates, then absolutely you give it to him. All right. Well, this has been fun, my lads. Thanks for hopping on. Might do another one of these soon with a different topic. This was been DBD Interactions. So thanks for watching, everybody. Like and subscribe. See you guys next time.